This teacher catches students who are late for school every day. However, there's one student who always makes it to the school gate right on time. This is practically an insult to the teacher on duty. And this time, the teacher is determined to catch Sakamoto. As the school bell rang, the teacher quickly closed the school gate, and Sakamoto-kun came rushing over, holding a bamboo pole. The teacher saw his eager expression. He immediately realized Sakamoto was going to vault over the gate with a pole. How could I possibly allow this? Watch me knock you down. This is awkward. This guy, Sakamoto, who loves to show off, while walking to school on the ground, he stands at a high place, gazing ahead. He can use a chalkboard eraser like a pool cue. Even standing in the hallway as punishment looks unusually cool. However, the troublemakers in class couldn't stand it anymore. They threw his desk away, waiting for him to make a fool of himself. The little fans in class saw he had no desk, and one by one, invited him to sit with them. Sakamoto-kun, if you don't mind, please sit with Aina. Why don't you just sit next to me? Mine. No need to trouble everyone. That's so cool. Yellowhead didn't give up. When the male lead seized the opportunity to sit down, he snatched his chair away. But unexpectedly, Sakamoto casually sits in midair. Even Newton's coffin lid can't hold him down now. The blonde guy is devastated. But just then, a huge hornet flies in through the window. The girls are so scared, they run outside. But they don't forget to develop the good habit of closing the door behind them. Since hornets only attack moving black objects, everyone quickly took off all their clothes. This made the girls outside scream. Yellowhead thought his chance had come. As long as he take down the wasp himself, he would have the priority to choose a partner. But the next second, the wasp flew past him. Scared, he immediately took off his clothes, leaving only his pants. Suddenly, only Sakamoto was left in the classroom, wearing a black school uniform. The blonde guy was deeply moved. He risked his own safety for the sake of everyone. He picked up the compass in his hand, and confronted the hornet head-on. The stunned crowd all looked at the male lead, but he calmly let the hornet go. The girls praised the male lead, but the blonde-haired boy was laughed at by the men. In his heart, this might also be a way to be popular, so he decided to go the comedic route from then on. From then on, the blonde-haired boy never wore clothes again. Meanwhile, killing Sakamoto-kun still attracted the attention of the bad guys. They were planning to beat up Sakamoto to vent their frustration. They threatened a classmate and lured Sakamoto into the science prep room. While Sakamoto was opening the door, they dragged him into the room. But unexpectedly, the only exit was blocked by a wooden stick. The three surrounded Sakamoto in the middle. Seeing him still calm and composed, the man in the hat immediately became furious. He should first get 100 punches to the face. Xiaopang, however, suggested stripping him naked. Then take pictures and send them to all the girls in the class. Sakamoto-kun finally showed a disgusted expression. The man in the hat immediately became smug. But as he was taking pictures, something unexpected happened. The discarded cigarette but ignited the chemicals. The delinquents tried to escape, but they found the door was blocked by someone. As the fire grew bigger, they panicked. Seeing Sakamoto, he remained calm. The hothead couldn't hold it in anymore. What kind of time is this? You still want to act tough? Sakamoto, however, walked straight towards the source of the fire. He told them to step back. Repetition sidestep. Seeing Sakamoto-kun strangely hopping back and forth, Chubby immediately guessed he's trying to use the intense side-to-side movement to create wind and extinguish the flames. But that kind of thing is absolutely impossible. Yet Sakamoto-kun showed no hesitation, which left them all stunned. Under that thought, the fire seemed to have really weakened. The delinquents quickly took off their clothes and joined the hopping formation. The noise from upstairs caught the teacher's attention. The gym teacher ran over to check. Then he saw the four of them making strange movements. After the smoke cleared and the fire was put out, Sakamoto-kun took the initiative to inform the teacher. Because it caused a fire, they could only attract the teacher's attention this way. The delinquents finally understood that Sakamoto's true intention wasn't the alcohol. But when the teacher asked about the reasons for the other three, Sakamoto looked around, indicating that he was teaching them about the alcohol lamp. The delinquents finally breathed a sigh of relief. At this moment, the hat-wearing guy's phone rang. In the staff room, the teacher can't swallow this anger. He enters the school in a different way each time. This is definitely underestimating himself. Today, I must catch Sakamoto in the act. and then, with a valid reason, make him pay. At this moment, the teacher made a discovery. Sakamoto is conspiring with delinquents. Hey, come over here for a moment. Back again? I can only join you for one more. The teacher grins slyly. Seeing the smoke, he's already eager to punish Sakamoto-kun. Sakamoto is so cool. We can only blow out round shapes. How is he doing that? Tell me quickly. I finally quit smoking only to come here and blow bubbles. But a twist of fate, the teacher saw two students playing with a broom. And coincidentally, Sakamoto-kun was nearby. He was about to righteously lecture Sakamoto-kun, but a female student stopped him. So it turns out that Sakamoto-kun was cleaning the ceiling, the most hated place by his classmates. He perfectly avoided the falling dust. The dumbfounded teacher didn't notice the dust falling into his mouth. In the staff room, the teacher coughed incessantly. The next class is Sakamoto's class. He absolutely must find a chance to teach him a lesson. But soon, the teacher despairingly realized that this class is boys and girls physiology. Even the naughtiest kids are listening attentively. Speaking of Sakamoto, this guy's actually quite serious. But what's with the mess of cutlery in front of him? Since Sakamoto was still listening intently, the teacher couldn't punish him. But Sakamoto-kun actually pulled out another stack of rice. The excited teacher snapped the chalk and turned around. With an evil expression, he finally got what he wanted, because Sakamoto was about to eat his rice. At that moment, Sakamoto stopped. Although the teacher found it strange, he felt that it was normal for Sakamoto to not be able to eat without side dishes. Then, he finally collapsed and realized Sakamoto had treated his biology lesson as a side dish. He stopped his lecture. He lost his appetite. What a lack of respect. The teacher decided to play along and continue the lesson. Sakamoto quickly took a bite of rice. The teacher shouted at Sakamoto to stand outside as punishment. Sakamoto stood up, but grabbed some rice. He went to stand in the corridor. The teacher outwardly remained calm. As soon as he turned around, he couldn't hold it anymore. Reproductive functions have all kinds of abilities. He did it. Finally, he feeling refreshed. Then, fearing that Sakamoto might pull some other trick, he decided to take a look. He was feeding the dying sparrow with rice. Only then did he understand Sakamoto's intention. The teacher cried bitterly. They decided not to target Sakamoto anymore. That day, the delinquents set up a trap. They waited in the shadows for someone to fall for it. They were disappointed to see Sakamoto walking towards them. Though it was strange that he was wearing a padded jacket in summer. After all, it was Sakamoto. He probably wouldn't fall for it. But when they excitedly ran to check, the cave was surprisingly empty. Where did Sakamoto go? They decided to split up to search for Sakamoto, who was wearing a padded jacket. I've seen him. Really? Where? Isn't there a bridge over there? I saw him, whoosh, just float up there. I thought, when did they install the elevator? What a brilliant pantomime performance. When was that? About 4 days ago. A high school student in winter uniform? I've seen them before. Where did you see them? Right here in this food court. At first, I thought he was just running errands for the family. But instead, he ended up walking around tasting samples. The way he was carrying himself, it was like he was attending a standing wine reception. When was that? It was during the special sale, about 5 days ago. With the men's efforts, they found the third witness. I've seen him too. He actually used the method of skipping stones to catch fish. The older brother in the uniform. He adjusted the balance of the seesaw for me. I've seen him. He was there showing the black cat the way. He wasn't afraid of bringing bad luck home. The bad person also let out a hiss because of his own incompetence. He fell hard in front of an old lady's door. Has the guy playing music come again? What? It's not the guy playing music. Are you talking about the one in uniform? Yes, that's him. He often plays music there. The men had no choice. They sat at the scene, complaining about everything, until a child jumped into the hole. Mom, there's actually another hole inside. What are you doing? You're covered in mud. There's another hole inside the hole, but the men only dug one hole. Suddenly, they saw Sakamoto's button. That means this hole was dug by Sakamoto. The button suddenly slipped and fell into the hole, a bottomless abyss. The delinquents started to speculate. As everyone knows, if you could dig a hole through the Earth's surface to the other side, that would mean Sakamoto-kun is on the other side of them, which is far away Brazil. It's precisely because it's winter in Brazil now that Sakamoto was wearing his winter uniform, but Aya made a bold decision. He wanted to jump into the hole. His companions tried desperately to stop him, but Aya was his devoted fan. He would stop at nothing to find Sakamoto. Sorry. I'll be going to Brazil for a bit. Sakamoto appeared in the clothing store. It turned out that he often traveled during his summer break. This boy is so charming. Even Auntie can't resist his power. The high EQ Sakamoto suddenly leaned in. He asked how the development of Aya's hot spring was progressing. This helped ease Aya the wolf's awkwardness. H-on the wolf looked up at Sakamoto. It turns out that despite all his efforts, he still couldn't catch up to his idol, Sakamoto. Meanwhile, this cooking class became a course that the girls were incredibly excited about, because they were in the same group as Sakamoto. His skillful and quick way of flattening the meat patties even made them have to admit they were in love. The girls were also about to start, but unexpectedly, there was a slug. Sakamoto walked over as steady as an old dog. He sprinkled pepper on it, and a little white sugar. The slug's body was completely obscured. Looking at the slug, its whole body was protein. Sakamoto decided to change it. Soon, it was time for the second art class. The teacher gave the instructions. The two of them pair up to draw each other's face. Such a great opportunity, the girls won't let it slip by. With the teacher's command, all the girls rushed faster than the Blue Witch. But still, the class beauty, Aina, got a head start. Sakamoto-kun, let's draw together. Everyone's drawing styles are all over the place. Sakamoto-kun is looking at Aina like that. In Sakamoto-kun's pupils, what kind of beautiful girl is Aina that's reflected there? Finished. Let me see, let me see. A gorilla. It's actually a gorilla. So to Sakamoto, Aina is just a strong gorilla. Everyone gathered around. The original version of the painting has a deeper meaning. Turning it over, it's actually an angel-like figure. Aina was overjoyed. It turns out that in the artist's mind, she is an angelic being. The fire drill has begun. All the students in the school are gathering on the playground. But when the teacher called the roll, one person was missing. Someone guessed that they might be in the restroom. Without hesitation, Sakamoto rushed toward the teaching building. He quickly putting on a gas mask. Aya, who had just finished in the restroom, came out and saw everyone standing on the playground. He was terrified. Isn't it supposed to be class time now? Why is everyone standing outside? Is something serious happening? It wasn't until he saw the caterpillar Sakamoto nearby that he also crouched down to ask what was going on. Sakamoto told Aya that there was no time to explain now, and that they must escape quickly. Hey, what's that? A kitten? No, it's Aya. What's wrong, Aya? I don't know. I don't know anything. More than that, Sakamoto. Sakamoto. He's still in the school building. Everyone was incredibly excited, but they never expected. The more intense the atmosphere, the more satisfying Sakamoto would be. Don't! Wait! Then, Sakamoto jumped from the tall building, accompanied by screams. He jumped. Secret technique, zero gravity fire scene. Amid the cheers of the crowd, Sakamoto successfully landed. Sakamoto-kun, honestly, don't make people this nervous. Hey, Sakamoto. What are you even thinking? You're making everyone worry. It's only with this kind of tension that it can be called an evacuation drill. Sakamoto? And this time, Aina, the class beauty, decided to go for him. Aina, skilled at getting boys. She possesses many techniques. Her first step is to invade Sakamoto's personal space. She chooses to start from Sakamoto's left side, but why not from the right side? It turns out the right-hand side. The arms of both people will become an obstacle between them. Sorry to bother you. What's going on here? Attacking from both sides? Aina didn't expect. This person is actually this impressive. Looks like both sides are obstacles, making it hard to take action. There's no choice but to sit across from him. Helpless, he resort to my second trick. He call him by his name, and use an affectionate nickname. Quickly she closed the distance between them. But Aina doesn't even know Sakamoto's full name. Geez. Such a hassle. There's no choice, she have to ask herself. Sakamoto-kun, tell me your name. My name? I'm Sakamoto. Encrypted call. Interesting. Looks like I have to pull out my strongest trump card. By imitating the other person's actions, I can create a sense of familiarity. Ah, when? Wait a little longer. It's just too fast, I can't keep up. I call this the fastest typing speed of someone who's been single for 20 years. I can't help it, Aina. Well then, I guess I'll have to use that move. Ah, no, maybe I should let another guy teach me the lesson. The strongest trump card. To catch the prey, one must first lure. It's working. On the playground. A special guest has arrived. Even dogs are more attractive than me. This is something Aina didn't expect. Why isn't it working? Obviously no boy would buy into this kind of love psychology. Aina is starting to doubt her own dating strategy. Just then, Aina saw the Kitsuninari game, where shared heartbeats are mistaken for romance. Just as Sakamoto-kun was about to agree, two girls who admire him appeared. They said they wanted to join in the fun too. Those two are definitely doing this on purpose. But Aina could only force a welcome. Sakamoto-kun decided to observe from the sidelines. First question, was Sakamoto-kun reading Aina's book? Is that your real goal? I won't let you succeed. Look, even Kitsuninari says no. So, is Foxy, the Black Swamp student, a schemer? Look, the strength is really impressive. Finally, it's Aina's turn. Who does Sakamoto-kun actually like? On this issue, the three of them are equally matched. In the end, the coin was thrown to the ground. They say letting go halfway will bring retribution. Aina looked so pitiful. Save me, Sakamoto-kun. Sakamoto-kun is possessed. He demanded the girls build a torii gate within 20 minutes. Otherwise, he would return to the mountains with this body. But that's impossible. Seeing Sakamoto-kun means leaving. Two girls decide to use the desks. They want Aina to help. Aina says she can't move heavy things. The black-haired girl angrily accuses her. Do you want to return Sakamoto-kun to nature? After expressing disdain, they begin to laboriously build a torii gate. Sakamoto-kun licks his wrist to the side. The table almost hit the girl with black hair when no one was paying attention. Fortunately, Aina caught the table in time. Aina arrogantly said that she was just helping Sakamoto-kun. This has nothing to do with you. Soon, Tori finally finished building it. Sakamoto-kun jumped to the top. Oh, what exactly is this? Welcome back, Sakamoto. Geez, Sakamoto, Aina was so scared, so scared. Heh, you really dared to say that. But the two girls felt like they could get along with Aina just fine. They grabbed Aina's arm and said goodbye to Sakamoto together. And Sakamoto was left all alone. A secret technique. Position reset. A large amount of wire is wrapped around the top of the spread. The goal is to prevent this man from getting it off, making him look foolish. Sakamoto-kun jumps up and is indeed suspended by it. The girls, seeing their idol being tricked by the bread, can't bear to watch. But in the next moment, Sakamoto-kun's body starts to spin. The speed keeps increasing. The teacher beside him was stunned. He recalled witnessing the unique technique of a crocodile catching its prey during his Amazon expedition. It was exactly the death roll that Sakamoto was using. The boys who were trying to interfere were paralyzed with fear. But they didn't give up. Next up was the human pyramid competition. They were going to try to shake Sakamoto off. Seeing the human tower, swaying precariously and starting to tilt, the girls couldn't help but worry about their male god's safety. But unexpectedly, Sakamoto-kun, seizing the opportunity as the tower tilted, pulled off a real-life leaning Tower of Pisa. Seeing a World Heritage Site right beside them, the girls went crazy, swarming around Sakamoto-kun. On the other hand, only the older guys were left on the boys' side. The boys finally gave up. Sure enough, ordinary people can't compete with Sakamoto masters, but Yellowhead still refuses to believe it. Next up is the four-person relay race. The girls were incredibly envious of the black-haired girl's relay race with Sakamoto. The starting pistol fired, and the race began. But when it was Sakamoto-kun's turn in the relay, he actually fell flat on the ground. Yellowhead couldn't help but laugh to himself. Before the race, he tied Sakamoto's shoelaces, but unexpectedly, Sakamoto assumed a diving position. Seeing this, the teacher became unsettled. That was the pose of an Amazonian leopard hunting an impala. Sure enough, the next second, Sakamoto charged forward like a leopard at full speed. But since Sakamoto was holding the relay baton in his mouth, an unexpected turn of events occurred. This relay baton is no good, because Sakamoto-kun's saliva has already wet it. HMO, this is so stupid. Sakamoto-kun finally managed to reach first place. She was too excited to take the baton from Sakamoto-kun. Honestly, this girl has no manners. As expected, the girl will be disqualified due to the fall. It is highly likely to become the laughingstock of all the boys and girls in the school. Of course, none of this has anything to do with Yellowhead. But soon, he wouldn't think that way anymore, because the girl was crying sadly. Sakamoto-kun's voice came from the front. Sarah-kun. This is Yagi's memory of the sports meet. After the event, the black-haired girl apologized for her mistake, but the girls didn't care at all, because they were all more attracted to the blonde guy. The black-haired girl, after hearing this, was distracted. On the other side, the blonde guy was eating his lunch. He looked up at the tree, thinking that Sakamoto-kun had come to scold him. But Sakamoto-kun told him that even overweight heroes exist. The blonde guy didn't quite understand. At that moment, the black-haired girl walked toward him. He paused in front of the guy with yellow hair, then walked forward. No, I'm just here to wash my hands. Ah, I see. I'm telling you. I didn't expect you to be quite handsome. You think he's taking the elevator, but he's actually just walking. He's using a set of impressive, show-off skills. Sakamoto-kun won the adoration of all the female students. This displeased Senpai. He looked at Sakamoto-kun, hoping he would grant him some face. Sakamoto-kun took out the modeling clay from art class, then pressed his face onto it, and gave it to Senpai. Wow, he really granted him face. At that moment, the girls around him suddenly all stood up. They charged at him like wild animals. Could it be that his little trick just now was the signal for the attack to begin? This class has been completely controlled by this man. Actually, the girls just lusted after the male god's body. Senior Yellowhead issued a harsh warning. He told him to go to the riverbank of Line 2 after school, but today it was Sakamoto-kun's turn to clean. He understood he had no reason to fight the senior one-on-one, so they stole his shoes while Sakamoto was in the restroom. Sakamoto found his shoes missing. He immediately took out a black marker, and thus, a pair of new indoor shoes was born. This guy is really difficult to deal with. He saw the girls posting newspapers and needed a ruler. They stole Sakamoto's ruler in advance. At this moment, the PE teacher walked by. Is there anything in the world more straight than a PE teacher's hairstyle? The little brother was feeling a headache. With this, they could never provoke Sakamoto. Just then, Kubota walked by. They came up with a new idea. When Sakamoto-kun found him, Kubota-kun forced a smile, having just changed his hairstyle. Sakamoto-kun also complimented it, saying it suited him well. This is so weird. Why am I sad about hair that's already gone? Sakamoto-kun took off his shoulder strap, and carefully made him a stylish wig. Now, he has to reclaim Kubota-kun's personality. By the riverbank, Senior Yellowhead saw Sakamoto-kun showing a dangerous look and immediately decided to take action. But he was stopped by a nearby police officer. The officer scolded him, saying one-on-one fights are a crime. What was strange to everyone was, Sakamoto-kun said they were playing a pushing hands game. Ha nostalgic. Do you think I'm an idiot? Please, begin your performance. Senior Yellowhead just wants to get this over with. But Sakamoto-kun is taking it very seriously. Senior Yellowhead immediately adopts a boxing stance. His quick attack forces Sakamoto-kun to lean backward. At this point, victory seems assured. But unexpectedly, Sakamoto-kun starts swinging his arms. The centrifugal force generated by the high-speed rotation keeps him firmly in place. It starts raining from the sky. The two are evenly matched. But the less experienced Senior Yellowhead quickly runs out of energy. He also gets splashed by a car. Sakamoto decides to end the match. Standing attention, the secret technique of standing still. The crowd doesn't understand what his intention is. Only the police uncle secretly guessed. On such an open beach, he struck a pose like a tall and sharp lightning rod. Was he trying to summon lightning? The younger brother was terrified and told the senior to retreat temporarily, because it was they who took Sakamoto's precious thing. Yellowhead, the senior, froze due to distraction. It turned out Sakamoto was just calling a taxi, because if we keep going, Senior Yellowhead will catch a cold. Senior Yellowhead admits that he lost. He let Sakamoto-kun make a request. That's true. Then, would you accompany me to buy ingredients for dinner? Yoshinobu has a visitor. Sorry, I don't want to see anyone right now. That person is super handsome. I'm so sorry, my junior has caused you trouble. This man originally came to be a tutor. The moment they first met, the mistress fell madly in love with him. To become beautiful, she spared no expense in buying a beauty machine. She completely forgot her husband was still alive. Kubota is very scared. If this continues, the father and son will have to move out. So, future tutoring will have to be done in secret. But the sharp-eyed mistress quickly sensed something was wrong. She opened the shoe cabinet. She took out Sakamoto's shoes. She concluded that Sakamoto must be in Kubota's room. Sakamoto. Just as the mistress was getting curious, Sakamoto-kun had already used his agile footwork to jump into the room across the hall. The faint sound was still heard by the mistress. She called out Sakamoto-kun's name in a soft voice. I won't do anything. Hurry up and come out. Of course, Sakamoto-kun didn't believe her. He threw an eraser at the curtains. Taking advantage of the strong light blocking the lady's line of sight, he quickly left. The lady didn't give up. Instead, she became more and more excited. She carefully searched every corner of the house. Unfortunately, every time, she missed Sakamoto-kun by just a little. It seemed like Sakamoto-kun had managed to escape, but a phone call from Kubota-kun broke the silence. Hey, Sakamoto-kun. I'm at the convenience store on my way back. Which do you prefer, pudding or daifuku? The latter is fine. My makeup. The mistress rushed out without wiping her face. She found cute footprints on the floor. The footprints lead to the balcony. Little baby, you have nowhere to escape now. But when she opened the door, she only saw a rope. Little did she know, this was just Sakamoto's escape plan. After seeing the mistress's heartbroken expression, he saw the image of the mistress on TV, and realized he resembled the Korean oppa on the screen. So Sakamoto decided to reveal himself. Sakamoto-kun. They were ultimately unable to have a future together. The woman was heartbroken. I almost believed it. This is my mother's sweet and painful love story. But she's a foot fetishist. Taking advantage of the opportunity when Sakamoto took off his shoes, she took out her camera and started snapping away. The girl, pleased with her success, was overjoyed. But when she developed the photos, she found there was always a ghost in the corner. Coincidentally, her friends also mentioned a ghost murder case. So, the girl decided to tell Sakamoto-kun. Sakamoto-kun. That is... Actually... But the girl suddenly thought, if she told Sakamoto, her only quirk would be exposed, and she would also make her beloved Sakamoto hate her. Seeing the girl didn't speak for a long time, Sakamoto said he was leaving. The girl was still hesitating, but at that moment, the little green car slid out on its own. What is that? Sakamoto-kun. That is... the thinking car. You can still ride it even if you change classrooms. So this is possible? That must be a ghost. The girl firmly believes that it's a ghost trying to kill Sakamoto. She feels she has to do something to warn him, so she pretends to interview Sakamoto. She asks if he has noticed anything strange happening around him. There is indeed something. Kubota's hair has gotten longer. I see. the faucet suddenly made a noise. Sakamoto was about to check the faucet when he discovered something unbelievable. Ah, hair. Sakamoto-kun, where are you going? Wait, Sakamoto-kun, where are you taking that strange hair? Where are you going with it? Incredible! Only Sakamoto-kun would dare do something like this. The girl was so scared she collapsed to the ground, but the ghost still hasn't done anything. The men downstairs are bumping their butts into each other. Unfortunately, the girl saw it. Such a rare thing, of course, she had to take a photo. The girl immediately switched to burst mode. Awesome! Do it again. Just like that. Sakamoto-kun. Aina-chan. You worked hard in the competition. Try this later. Aina's sudden appearance gave the girl a deep blow. Others can openly approach Sakamoto, while she can only hide in the dark corner and watch secretly. Perhaps she is more like a ghost. The girl quickly pulled out her camera to check the photos. Sure enough, there was a ghost, but its mouth seemed to be telling him something. The girl repeated it. No way. It scared her. She quickly ran to a print shop to get the photo developed. The girl went crazy. She ran straight to Sakamoto. Sakamoto-kun. Please look at this. I like you. Look, she's saying I like you, you know? Wait a minute. Doesn't this just become a super disgusting confession? It's not like that. There's a ghost possessing Sakamoto-kun. But he is not in danger. She just wants to convey her strong emotions to Sakamoto. Class monitor. Could you help me move the photocopies? I'm doomed. Right, I need to go move the photocopies. I've been completely hated. Sakamoto-kun, that. Sorry, I'll take over, so. I can only say this pose is pretty cool, but it does put a strain on your mouth. Thank you. Thank you for always liking me. A strong gust of wind blew through, carrying away the papers in Kubota's flowing long hair. But from that moment on, the girl never secretly filmed Sakamoto in the dark corners again. Instead, she chose to film him openly. The ghost also never appeared again after that. The girl's eraser unfortunately fell, but it was quickly snatched up by the man next to her. The girl was about to thank him. She was furious, but when the man tossed the eraser back to her, it felt so warm. It turned out that today was the final exam. The girl was shaking from both the cold and her nerves. The man is named Sakamoto. With his exceptional skill in showing off, he gained countless little fangirls at school. The fangirls also remembered their first encounter with Sakamoto-kun. On the first day of school, his umbrella was blown away by a storm. It also left a shadow over his otherwise brilliant high school life. His umbrella was also turned inside out, but his graceful posture, it's as if he's enjoying a spring rain. He's ridiculously cool, but it gets even more ridiculous. The blonde girl also shared her first encounter with Sakamoto. It was when they were receiving their textbooks. Unable to see where she was going, she fell to the ground. Could this be? Could it be that? No, it's not that. I just tripped and fell like an ordinary person. But Sakamoto-kun picked up her textbook in a princess carry. Her textbook was carried like that. You didn't get hurt, did you? Wow, that's so romantic. It said that this is a gateway to the adult world. The three underage delinquents were deeply captivated by him. He wants to go in and completely set himself free. But even though the man stole an adult's membership card, he still doesn't have the courage to enter this mysterious door. The sudden appearance of Sakamoto caught their attention. The three of them came up with the perfect plan. So they kidnapped Sakamoto to make him borrow the Book of Growth. And to get inside, no one must find out. We need to slip in quickly while the door curtain is blown open by the wind. Upon learning of the situation, Sakamoto started circling around the bookshelf, but the three of them noticed something was wrong. It turned out that Sakamoto, by spinning himself, caused the surrounding air to start moving, which blew open the mysterious door curtain. Now's our chance. Aya was excited beyond words. Sakamoto entered incredibly fast. Even I can't see it, let alone Aya, as expected of Sakamoto-kun. His movements were so quick, 2.5 minutes have passed. The three of them had been waiting for a long time, but just then, Sakamoto floated out with a confident stride, as if ignoring everyone around him. A friend of my mother. The others quickly continued directing Sakamoto. It turns out there were 3 other girls from the same class in the store. If they're caught, it's hard to explain. 1 from China, 1 from Japan and Korea, 1 from Europe and America. So you must follow the planned route to walk in order to reach the checkout. Sakamoto is also very impressive. His high IQ allows him to identify locations by sound. In the end, he successfully reached the checkout. But the next moment is the most crucial, disguised as an adult. Otherwise, you can't borrow it. Sakamoto took out a brush and started writing something on his hand. The cashier turned out to be a newcomer. This is truly a blessing from heaven. But just as Sakamoto was about to check out, a middle-aged man stepped forward. It turned out to be the store manager. The manager looked at the membership card in his hand. He clearly doesn't look like the man before him. This man. But when Sakamoto looked at his wrist, it was a Rolex. Could you please hurry up? I have another client to see. I'm running out of time. Urged by Sakamoto, the store manager also lost himself. Everyone successfully got what they wanted. Seeing Sakamoto's composure in the face of danger, Aya decided to invite Sakamoto home to watch a movie together. Hey, Sakamoto, come to my place and watch it with me. But for the first time, they saw Sakamoto hurriedly bidding farewell. The trio were incredulous. Could it be that even Mr. Sakamoto hasn't touched that area yet? For a moment, the forbidden book in his hand seemed heavier. They decided to brush up on their knowledge during health class. And this time, at the sports meet. The boys didn't want Sakamoto to steal the spotlight, so they secretly teamed up to prank him. The next event was the human pyramid. The stands were filled with girls, and Sakamoto's spot was at the very top. At the entrance gate, everyone plans to publicly execute him then. Their human tower is so unstable, though. While everyone was trying hard to push Sakamoto down, Sakamoto surprisingly performed a leaning tower of Pisa. That's amazing. It's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I love him so much. Why is there such a handsome man in the world? All the girls were attracted to Sakamoto. The support from the men's side was limited to the aunties only. Thank you for helping Sakamoto. There's just the final relay race left. As a girl, Yagi-san was envied by everyone for having Sakamoto in the relay. The race began. Sakamoto-kun. Sakamoto suddenly fell to the ground. It turned out his shoelaces were tied together. Helpless, he had no choice but to use his ultimate move. Although Sakamoto was in this position, he still managed to catch up with the leader. But when it came to Yagi, the saliva on the baton was too slippery. As a result, Yagi not only failed to grab it but also fell flat on his face. This is bad. The baton is wet from Sakamoto's saliva. It was hard for Sakamoto-kun to finally reach first place. She must have been so excited to take the baton from Sakamoto-kun. Honestly, this girl has no manners at all. In the face of everyone's mockery, Yagi still picked up the baton and kept running. But no matter how hard she tried, the position couldn't be recovered. The blonde-haired guy watched Yagi, who was crying uncontrollably. Sarah-kun. This is Yagi's memory of the sports festival. Okay, I'll let you see it. This is what happens when an ordinary person takes things seriously. Then he did something that stunned everyone. He slowly started to pull at his clothes. He took off his clothes and ran a lap. You probably can't guess why he did that. I'll just show you the footage to explain. What's wrong, Sakamoto? I've had enough of your scolding. Is that so? Then let me just say. Even chubby heroes exist, you know. Oh my, is this Mr. Bard's new home? My apologies for the intrusion. Yagi slowly walked over. It turned out that the blonde guy was streaking, ignoring everyone's stares. It was to prevent everyone from blaming Yagi after the match and shift all the focus onto himself. But hard work always pays off. His effort also won Yagi's favor. I told you. I didn't expect you to be so cool. Arm saxophone? No way. Sakamoto actually used his hand as a saxophone. No wonder he's the pinnacle of pretentiousness. He can use chalk as a pool cue. Without a desk, he can sit on the windowsill. Washing his face can make a bunch of girls swoon. Rescuing a bird and flying it to the sky, no problem. Using an umbrella as a parachute is still acceptable. What a guy, truly extraordinary. But what does this mean? Come out and explain it to me. And he can still attract so many girls? It turns out that 2.5 hours ago, in Shinjuku, the two men saw that Sakamoto looked quite honest. So they invited him to a party, to make themselves look better by comparison. They wanted to capture the hearts of those socialite girls, so the men decided to strike quickly. They directly started shouting into the microphone in public. The girl was instantly captivated. But the man in white didn't want him to steal the limelight alone. He pretended to accidentally turn off the music. The man instantly lost his desire to continue singing. Why? Finish singing it. But why is there still music playing? What is that sound? Is this a scam? This. Could it be? I was completely caught off guard by this show. Arm saxophone. No way. Please forgive my rudeness. The men instantly understood who the real opponent was. He secretly used a dirty trick. On the surface, everyone was served cocktails, but Sakamoto's drink was actually cola. As long as he finishes this cola, Sakamoto's singing will definitely crack. That's the chance to make Sakamoto embarrassed. Next, please enjoy Sakamoto's Demon King. He's singing with quite a lot of power. Surprisingly charismatic. Hurry up and hit the gap. Hua. That just now was a standard lisp sound. You actually used the gap in such a clever way. Your Majesty, the Demon Lord, take us away quickly. Everyone, I'll be going first. The two men froze in place. So this is the legendary honest man. Seeing the man kick the stone into the river, the elementary school students were having so much fun, but the next second, the man flipped into the river. He actually used his body to perform the Lingbo Weibo light steps. The elementary school students were stunned. For a moment, they couldn't tell where the river was and where the road was. It turns out the elementary school students were kicking stones on the road, disturbing the pedestrians. Sakamoto-kun then performed a perfect stone-passing move. The next day, they've also set the rule to always walk along the white line, no matter the situation. A gust of wind blows by. Sakamoto-kun is already far ahead. They stubbornly follow, with Sakamoto-kun leading the way. They follow the traffic rules. But just then, a man in red walks toward them. The elementary school kids think they're definitely going to lose. Sorry to interrupt. Your shoelace is undone. This is so cool. Imitating Sakamoto and the others, they passed one by one. And then this group turned the corner and crossed the bridge. They passed the rugby field. The sky was getting darker. The white line was at the end. But the finish line is not here. The boy in the red shirt pointed to the stop sign ahead. He showed a look of despair. That place is too far for them. But Sakamoto-kun took out a roll of tissue. The boy quickly slapped the tissue open. I'm not a crybaby. Oh dear, what a highly motivated young man. Thanks to you, the path ahead has opened up. The toilet paper the boss knocked down, connecting the line. This is a real toilet rug. The teacher is scolding the students for their poor physical condition. Suddenly, he noticed a man's strange running posture. He actually ran through the evolutionary process of mankind. Although the teacher is angry, he can't exactly punish him, because he was running in first place, with his incredible skill in showing off. Sakamoto-kun attracted Kabuto-kun's mother. That day, Kabuto-kun was sick. She gave a meaningful smile. She put on Kabuto-kun's school uniform, and saw Sakamoto-kun passing by. Her cute little eyes suddenly widened. Her palm uncontrollably reached out toward Sakamoto-kun, but she controlled herself, because today, she is Kabuto-kun. In cooking class, Shigemi took the miso soup that Sakamoto-kun had drunk. The opportunity for an indirect kiss had arrived. The cheating cat. Why do you have that expression? Mommy anxiously indicates that she doesn't feel well. You have to hold on. There will be plenty of opportunities. During PE class, the teacher was shocked again. That Kabuto-kun could actually keep up with Sakamoto-kun's evolutionary running style. Mommy was already so close. She was just a step away from reaching Sakamoto, but her body, overwhelmed, eventually caused her to fall. Sakamoto also stopped. He sincerely extended his arm to her, but Mommy, for the first time, refused, because that kind of gentleness wasn't meant for her. Sakamoto also saw the broken pendant on the ground. On the other side, the boys want to touch Kabuto-kun's chest. Shomi was about to refuse but saw Sakamoto-kun in the crowd. If he's going to remember me this way forever, maybe it's worth it, if he sees the real me. This way. Hey, wait a minute. Isn't there one that's bigger than Kubota? Because the wind keeps blowing the curtains around, it's quite annoying, so he tied both ends together. Maome finally remembered that she was actually a mother. She took the initiative to say goodbye to Sakamoto-kun. Sakamoto-kun stopped her. He handed her something. From now on, you have to get along well with me, Sakamoto-kun. Of course. The blonde-haired guy, being the delinquent leader at school, actually knelt down in front of Sakamoto. He, who had always been so proud, finally bowed his head. It turns out that his father is looking for a stepmother for his sister, and their first meeting was already arranged. It's a high-class French restaurant, but as a delinquent, how would he know the etiquette? So he begged Sakamoto to help him out. At the table, he ate with surprising skill. But looking at his impressive muscles, Sakamoto was secretly assisting him from behind. By the way, Shokuin, you're incredibly well built. Are you doing arm exercises? No, haha. Rather than exercise, he often fights. Fights? That's too dangerous. Seeing that Dad said the wrong thing, Sakamoto, for some reason, rolled up his napkin. Dad hurriedly started explaining. It's not the kind of fighting you imagine. It's really nothing. It's just offering flowers to peace. Yes, that's right. This works too. After the meal, the French head chef came up. Thank you very much for your visit. I am Chef Jean-Paul Philippe. Is today's dish to your liking? How do you say delicious in French? But Aya doesn't know either. His dad also avoided eye contact. There's no choice but to guess on my own. Bonjour. Did I say it wrong? Beaujolais. Did you guess correctly? It wasn't you. It was Sakamoto. Very well done. Excellent. He and his father planned to have some time alone together. Ashan very understandingly left, but as he walked, he saw a group of thugs. The person being bullied was the father I had just said goodbye to, but Sakamoto stopped the impetuous Akashi. If we rush in now, we'll also expose ourselves as delinquents. So they switched places. Hey, you brat, stay out of this. Akashi, the delinquent leader, is not without reason. With just 3 punches, he knocked everyone present down. Are you all okay? But his father suddenly ran behind, trembling. It turned out his stepmother had set him up. Well, I really don't have any money. Stop lying, bringing along that son who acts like a king. It's not like that. Ah, Xiang, he did it for me and my younger brother. I only pretended to be a good child. French cuisine is nothing but a show. Faced with the attack from behind, the pained Ah Xiang effortlessly deflected it with a wave of his hand. There's something I have to tell you. Actually, I am an alien. A perfectly timed coordination scared everyone away. His father also fainted from shock. I really don't know what to do with you, old man. Wake up! Hey! Ah Xiang had no choice but to gently carry his father back. The man noticed the cafeteria lady's noodle business wasn't doing well, so he wrote on the classroom blackboard and concluded 3 seconds as everyone's reaction time. While moving on the playground, he drew the shape of the noodles in 0.3 seconds, then quickly erased it. The teacher even thought it was his poor eyesight. Even when watering plants, he didn't forget to validate the power of science. The next day, the cafeteria lady's business has really picked up. The girl, to celebrate the holiday, shared her photos with everyone. Uniquely, I didn't expect there to be such beautiful photos. Where's Sakamoto-kun? Where's Sakamoto-kun? However, the brown-haired girl voiced her confusion. Hey, that's... It was from the marathon. The girl wants to take a picture of Sakamoto, but his speed is so fast that it's blurry, so the girl decides to take the picture at the finish line. A picture taken at the finish line. The charm is a bit overwhelming. It makes everyone want to replicate it. Even the rebellious Aya says he wants to do it, but his stubborn heart still stopped him. Sakamoto's charm is just too overwhelming. It really hit Aya hard. She even stopped going to the delinquent meetings. Kubota also had his moment of glory. Wait, is that Kubota-kun? I thought it was a local fisherwoman. Ah, this is so embarrassing. When was this photo taken? Print an extra copy for me too. I want one too. Me too. However, the most dazzling one was discovered by them. It appeared. What is it? Venus was born. I want it. I want it too. A discarded photograph drifted to Ajang's side. Ajang fell into thought. Ajang, I said, don't go there, it's very dangerous. Let go of me. I want to go to the deep sea like Sakamoto. He just wants Sakamoto's approval, but he was schemed against by that old man Nara. If he can't get it, then he'll destroy it. Thank you. At the highly anticipated graduation ceremony, the class representative Sakamoto is giving the graduation speech. The corrupted Aya slowly walks over. The strong physical education teacher tries to stop him. His hairstyle, which he was so proud of, was destroyed in an instant. He collapsed to the ground in pain. What truly represents the pinnacle of pretentiousness? On the surface, the man is taking the elevator, but in reality, he's walking. The guy with the yellow hair pulled his chair away, and he ended up sitting in midair. No matter who tries to mess with him, he always manages to turn the situation around with style. But today, Sakamoto-kun showed his only slip-up. His glasses were knocked off, and he ended up with a bruised face. He kept holding on, refusing to let go, even as the delinquents kept hitting him. It turns out today was the farewell speech for the senior class. Sakamoto-kun, as the only representative from the first year, went up on stage. But he became the focus of all the students' attention and expectation. He took out a volleyball and powerfully hit it upwards. Amidst everyone's confusion, a white volleyball came down from above. It turned out that it was a volleyball that the graduating class had once hit onto the ceiling during a ball game. To prevent their seniors from leaving with regrets, Sakamoto-kun pulled out the thorn that had been lodged deep in their hearts. Just then, Aya, wielding a baseball bat, appeared. He walked step by step towards Sakamoto-kun. The gym teacher, who always prided himself on his crew cut, stepped forward to stop him. His hairstyle was struck by Aya's bat, sending sparks flying. The students were all scared and panicked. All of this was the result of this man's years of incitement. Aya has already stood before Sakamoto-kun. Meanwhile, the PE teacher, because he lost his pride and joy, his haircut, his turbulent heart remained unsettled for a long time. At this time, Senpai Yellowhead, who had once been helped by Sakamoto-kun, came to the rescue, but was signaled to stop by Sakamoto-kun. He lowered his head and continued his speech. This made the students think it was part of the performance. Aya thought that Sakamoto-kun still looked down on him at that moment. He launched an attack on Sakamoto-kun, but he skillfully dodged it with his quick movements. He remained calm and played the piano. He even used Aya's iron rod to add a heavy accent. Sakamoto-kun climbed the stairs. Aya followed him. His attacks were still completely dodged by Sakamoto-kun. But then, a sudden change occurred. Aya, whose attention was entirely on Sakamoto-kun, fell downwards. Fortunately, Sakamoto-kun managed to catch him in time. Aya, who was caught, felt a mix of shame and anger. He desperately swung at Sakamoto-kun. And this time, he actually hit. Aya felt that he had always been insignificant to Sakamoto-kun. "You must have always looked down on me." Sakamoto-kun didn't respond. Aya repeatedly smashed his wrists until they were bloody and pulped. Unable to hold on any longer, Sakamoto-kun finally let go. Aya fell directly downwards. At that moment, a bloodstained hand grabbed him again. Sakamoto-kun's pants fell down. If even you don't believe in yourself after graduation, I hope you can still trust your friends. That's it. Aya was spared from the punishment of being expelled. As for Senpai Shines, who had never lost at tic-tac-toe, a neat distraction from Sakamoto-kun's kneecap impact and the heartfelt blessings from the juniors in front of the crowd, he successfully graduated. Sakamoto-kun also went to NASA in the US after his first year of high school. He really went to NASA in the US.